Right now is former U.S. Army Special Operations Strategic Advisor at White Fox Defense, Brett Velicovich, and from Price Futures Group, Phil Flynn. And let me kick it off with you, Phil. Give us the sense of the oil markets this morning. We see prices are up almost 9% right now.
Yeah, a lot of traders were in shock this weekend. You know, there was an assumption, of course, that this type of thing wouldn't happen. You know, we were in a new era, and we really didn't have to worry about oil price shocks anymore. And I go to your point. You're absolutely right. The United States, being the biggest producer in the world, has really softened the blow, but it hasn't totally removed the risk. And the biggest concern, I think, for the oil market right now is not only how quickly the Saudis can get production back online, but how can they stop an attack in the future? I mean, that's the key thing here. Yeah. Listen, we've known that these Houthi rebels have been attacking for some time. How did this happen, and can it happen again?
Brett, what do you say to this? Can it happen again? And also the fact that the Iranians are pushing to say that this wasn't them and the Houthis taking responsibility. No comment on the fact that Iran encourages the Houthi rebels.
Well, there's no doubt in my mind that it is the Iranians. They have everything to gain from the spike in oil prices. They need oil over $100 a barrel to fuel their economy. So it's clearly, the Iranians in this case. But the attacks, when you look at this really closely, it's one of the deepest attacks within Saudi territory from with this type of drone strike. And because of the conflict within Yemen and Saudi Arabia, you immediately point to the Houthis, and you would assume that the drones originated from inside Yemen. But as a drone expert, I look at this and I say, how is this even possible? They would have had to reach a distance of almost 800 kilometers to where this oil field is from where the Houthis have their primary territory. And that takes a significant level of sophistication to do that. We can do that in the military because we have satellites and relay systems and physical relays in different countries that allow us to pump out these live stream videos to do that. For a Houthi rebel group, it takes an incredible level of sophistication, and that's why I believe these attacks didn't originate in Yemen at all. They originated more than likely in Iraq, and we probably have very strong evidence indicating that the Iranians may have even been the ones to fly it.
Wow. All weekend I was looking at research reports from Wall Street analysts. There was a lot of activity over the weekend as analysts were writing up what they thought the impact would be before Monday morning opening for the markets. President Trump tweeted on the attacks as well, and he wrote this yesterday. Saudi Arabia oil supply was attacked. There is reason to believe that we know the culprit, are locked and loaded depending on verification, but are waiting to hear from the kingdom as to who they believe was the cause of this attack and under what terms we would proceed. Brett, what should the U.S. do at this point? Are you expecting a reaction from the U.S., a military reaction?
I think that there's a possibility that there could be some sort of military action to take place. If you look at in the last few weeks, we saw a strike by the Israelis on an Iranian base inside Iraq that was preparing to send drones to strike some sort of Israeli asset. And they stopped that beforehand. I think that's what we're seeing here in this case as well, is that we may have very clear evidence that there's an Iranian base from where these drones originated. But I want to talk real quickly about how to stop these attacks in the future, because we have the ability right now, the technology exists to be able to hijack the controls of a drone, take over a drone remotely, and land it safely. This is not sophisticated. This is sophisticated technology. It's not classified top secret tech we're talking about. These oil facilities should be installing this counter drone technology that is able to stop these attacks, create these virtual barriers that can jam the signals of these drones so that these critical facilities don't have to deal with this problem in the future.
The Saudis are aiming to restore a third of lost oil output today. That's according to the Wall Street Journal. I just want to point out Lindsey Graham's tweet yesterday, Phil, before you answer on Saudi trying to fill up what has been lost. Lindsey Graham tweeted this. It is now time for the U.S. to put on the table an attack on Iranian oil refineries if they continue their provocations or increase nuclear enrichment.
I think that's a possibility. It's sending the Iranians a quick message. It will have a major impact on the global economy and oil prices if that happens, because we don't know what will happen after that. So it's a very high-risk situation. I will say this. President Trump is very good at trying to calm oil prices. Yeah. Right as the market was opening electronically, he came out with his tweet that he was going to release oil from the reserve. And also, we wanted to remind people there's plenty of oil out there, so don't worry.
Yeah, that's what he said in the tweet, Dagan. Plenty of oil, exclamation point.
There is a concern, though, Phil, about being able to ramp up production, particularly here in the U.S., in the Permian Basin, in those shale formations, that I know that I think the U.S. rig count is down to a 17-month low, down 16% from a year ago, according to Baker Hughes. And it's not that easy to ramp up that production here in the U.S.
It isn't, you know, and the shale guys have laid off a lot of their employees. The rigs just aren't there. It would probably take weeks to bring this production back online. They do have a lot of drilled but uncompleted wells that they can try to bring on quickly, but then you have issues of transportation, trying to get it online, and we're already exporting a record amount of oil, so it's going to be hard to increase that.
All right, great conversation, guys. We're watching a move that hasn't been seen in a long time, 9% higher on oil. Brett Velicovich and Phil Flynn, thank you so much, gentlemen.